Sorry about that. Don't know what happened. But anyways, I eventually left before my 12th birthday. It was actually my 7th grade year. The summer of my 7th grade year, I left. I stayed on the streets for like 3 years. I ended up graduating high school in December of my senior year instead of May. So I graduated, 6 months early. That gave me an upper hand. I went to college, graduated college. Unfortunately, the road caught up to me. My street living and everything else caught up to me. I ended up getting in trouble with the law. That trouble lasted for years, maybe around 6, 7, 8 years. I ended up, went to jail a couple times, getting arrested due to marijuana, alcohol, things of that nature, and ended up going to prison. Went to prison. They gave me a 2-year sentence. I did roughly around 13 months in prison. But while in prison, I believe that God put me somewhere where He knew that I would have to focus on Him. He knew that I would have to listen to His Word, and I would have to study His Word in order to get out that place that I was at in life. And so that was a blessing in disguise, that God loved me enough to set me aside and put me on timeout, so to speak. And I was on timeout and in prison. Unfortunately, at that time, prisons were having lots of riots. Well, fortunately for me, but they kept us locked down the whole time, 23 hours a day. We were locked down at least 4/5 of the time I was in prison for those 13 months. And so I just constantly read and prayed and read and prayed. The time that we were allowed to go out or intermingle with other prisoners, I was more of a confidant to others because I was in depth with my relationship and my growing relationship with Christ. And I understood a lot of the Bible. Well, not a lot. I understood parts of the Bible that I had read at the time. And so I was able to help others. And from there, I allowed that to guide me. Once I was released from prison, I did a successful parole, no problems, and that was from 2004 to 2005. 2005, I did parole until 2006. I did a year of parole, and then immediately after getting off parole, I ended up moving to Georgia in 2006, and since then I was acclimated. I found a church home fairly quickly. I visited like 3 churches and found a church home fairly quickly for me and my children and my wife. And we've been at the church ever since. It was about 2007, February 2007, right around there. Been at that church ever since around 2008. Into 2008, 2009, I started helping out more. I was always helping out. Me and my family always helped out, and we're servants, not just to the church, schools, community. We've always done our part. And so 2008, 2009, at the beginning of 2009, I became a Sunday school teacher for the students, for the junior high students. And that lasted around a year and a half, roughly around 2 years. And then I was promoted to student director around 2010. Around May 2010, I was promoted to student director, and I stood in that position for about 3 years. At this time, we took students out to the yearly youth retreat at this place in Carrollton, Georgia, and it was my 3rd or 4th year there with them. 2010, so it was my third year there with them. Long story short, I have been praying since I got out of prison. God, where do you want me to go? God, what do you want me to do? Because I was in tune with the fact that I was a lot more advanced or a lot more important for the kingdom than I've been practicing. I have been exercising in life, and so I started being separated from everyone so I wouldn't continue to follow the path. That's one of the reasons why I moved here to Georgia. Like I say, long story short, God spoke to me one evening. Well, actually, it was one morning time when we were fishing. I was fishing with some 6 to 8 year olds. It was roughly around 10 students that I had at the youth retreat, and I was fishing, and I heard loud and clear, keep doing what you're doing. So, not thinking about anything, I turned around thinking that someone was standing behind me. I turned around, I was like, huh, what'd you say? And then no one was there. So I was like, wow, that was weird. But one of the students that heard me, it was like, who you talking to, Mr. Larry? And I was like, nothing. Don't worry about it. And then I heard it immediately after that, heard it again. Keep doing what you're doing. And so I was like, God, you talking to me? And he was like, he repeated it again for a third time, keep doing what you're doing. I was like, well, I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting here fishing with these kids, spending time with these kids. And he said, exactly. And I was like, wow. So that was I didn't hear from God no more that day. But I immediately knew that's what he wanted me to do, was to spread the love and spread his word, because I understood that children were being neglected. Children were being treated like a byproduct of being an adult, which is not wrong. The Bible, like I said, the Bible teaches that unless you're like the least of these, you will never make it through my gates. And it also teaches us to train up a kid in the way he should go, and when they get older, it'll never depart. I'm a prime example for that. And so I took it face value. God spoke to me. God told me to do something. I said, yes, sir. Thank you. I have been praying, God, where do you want me to go? God, what do you want me to do? God, I know I'm powerful. God, I know I can do all things through you who strengthen me. So where do you want me to go? I'm your weapon. I'm your vessel. What do you want me to do? And he told me. So from then, like I say, I eventually became a student director. I was student director at Destiny World Church, over 200 students. And I ended up becoming... in 2013, 2014, I ended up becoming the student minister, and I'm still currently the student minister there. And my greatest success in student ministry, I would say, is the fact that students know that I care, and they change. They call me. I constantly go to their schools, I go to their homes, I go to their orchestra events, their plays, their football games, their whatever they do, whatever extracurricular they do in the school, at home, I'm there. I'm a part of their family. I want them to know that I love them, because the old adage goes, students don't care what you know until they know that you care. And I care, and I sincerely want to do something to impact the kingdom and to help them. And so I do it by showing love all the time. It's what I didn't get growing up. I didn't get much love growing up. I was verbally abused, physically abused, mentally abused, all that. And I'm glad that God loved me enough to have me strong enough to use that pain and use that upbringing to help others, and not to hurt others, but to help others, and to be in a posture and be in a position where I am able to understand and recognize when other people are hurt, and I'm able to meet them where they are and help them in that aspect, and guide them to Christ, and guide them and influence them and encourage them to build a relationship with Christ, and to follow that GPS unit, which is the Holy Spirit that they receive once they accept Christ as their personal Lord and Savior. And so, like I say, one of my greatest achievements, successes in student ministry has been, I guess it's several. It's been the fact that in 2015, every single month, there has been at least 2 students baptized. Every single month. In July, we actually had 6 students that were baptized. And these are my students, not trying to take the credit, being as humble as possible, but these are students that I taught, students that I've been teaching. And it says plant the seed and God will water it. Well, those are things that, because of course in ministry we doubt sometimes, and so that was some of the doubt that I had. Like, God, is this really where you want me to be? God, am I really doing your will? And to see these students being baptized and see these students staring at me like young men and young women, looking into my eyes and looking into my mouth while I'm speaking to them, and not on the phone texting, and not on the phone on Facebook or Twitter or whatever they do on their phone, for them to be paying attention, for them to want to come to church and want to learn, that is a success for me. I mean, I've done several things. I took students to a college tour a couple years in a row, going to Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, drop down to Florida, come back up to Savannah, Georgia, and come back to right here to Austell, Georgia. And what was it? 6 days, 10 schools, 5 states, 43 students in a chartered bus. So, I've done stuff like that. I'm the director, not the director. I'm on the board of a successful nonprofit based out here in Douglas County, which is Beyond the Front Porch. We take students second Saturday of each month to different places of educational value as a field trip, just to try to be an assistant for schools and to help them so they can expand their mind and see other things that are out there. We take them to places like U.S. Space and Rocket Center, which is NASA. We take them to the Atlanta History Museum. We take them to the Civil Rights Museum. We take them to Tennessee Aquarium. We take them to Helen River Tubman. We just take them every single month. We take them second Saturday each month to a different place of educational value, just to expand their mind. So those are some of the things that I do. Those are some of the things that, some of the greatest successes in student ministry for me. I mean, I'm pretty sure if you ask other people about me, they probably would name something else. But those are some of the things that I think, that's the reason why I do it, is to multiply the kingdom. It's the reason why I do it, is to be in my lane and to add quality to everyone's life by giving them the word, and by not just giving them the word, but by living the word transparently, and allowing them to see that, they have a confidant, they have someone to speak to, they have an out. They don't have to just be accustomed and stuck in the same place where they're used to, they're comfortable with. They can be courageous enough to get out and to be an advocate for Christ. So I believe that covered my testimony, my rocky road. Another short story I want to share. I know it's been about 13 minutes. I want to share really, really quick, is the fact that once I moved from California, I had, of course, I had a vehicle. My car, I had a little sports car, a little Mazda, with music, TVs, all that, like I said, this is 10 years ago, 9 years ago. But I had loud music in it and everything. So I thought that was, I thought that was cool, attracting attention. Got the shiny rims and the loud music and all this and all that. Anyways, it wasn't until one day, I was in my tow truck. I bought a tow truck to support my family. So one day I was in my tow truck. I was at the gas station filling up, and it was late night, about 2, 3 in the morning. And I was out on the call, of course, 24 hours in the tow truck. Shout out to road service, yeah. But anyways, I was at the gas station, and a car pulled up, and it had about 3 or 4 young men in it, and the music was loud, blasting. They were boisterous. They were, they weren't threatening or harmful in any way, shape, form, or fashion. I wasn't worried about that part of it. But what attracted my attention is the fact that they were unattractive. It's the best word I can use. They were unattractive. All the young men, they were just unattractive. And I was like, wow, is that what I look like when I'm in my car? When I pull up with my loud music and I'm singing a song that maybe my neighbor, maybe somebody didn't want to hear, somebody else trying to just merely get gas or merely get a hot dog from Quick Trip or something like that, and that's what I look like. And so it just convicted my spirit. And from that point on, I sold my car, I sold everything. I said, no, that is not what I want to represent. That is not who I want to represent. And I think that was another confirmation for my call to ministry, is me being more mature about what I wanted to represent and how I wanted to represent, and how I wanted to abstain from any appearance that didn't represent Christ, because that was not my job. My job was not to represent the world. My job was to represent Christ. And ever since then, I've done it, and it has been fulfilling. And I now understand the difference between happiness and joy. It is two total different things. Joy and faith is what keeps you well-rounded. Now, and happiness is an emotion. Happiness, anger, sadness, doubt, fear, those are all emotions. Now, I look at it like this. We're all like a box top. The old school box top, you spin, and it spins on a little axis point, and then once it starts losing speed and velocity, it starts teetering like this, and then it falls to one side. Now, when we have Christ in our life, and we're doing exactly what He tells us to do, and we're being obedient, that's constantly us getting spent again. We're constantly spinning, so we're not wobbling, we're not teetering. Now, when we disregard His track record, and we start trying to do things on our own, we start trying to rely on the happiness. Oh, we got a promotion in our job. Oh, we just got the new pair of shoes. Oh, we just got the new car. And we start relying on, oh, my so-and-so passed away. Okay, it hurts. It's happiness and it's sadness. And, we start relying on those emotions in our life. That's when we start teetering. That's when we get off balance a little bit. And we're supposed to always have the joy and the faith in Christ. And that's what keeps us straight up and straight down. That's what keeps us balanced in our life. And that's what it's about. It's about balancing our human lives and being effective for Christ by keeping Him the center of our life. Regardless of what happens in our life, regardless of the adversities that we're going to all see, regardless of the trials and tribulations we're going to all be faced with, if we keep Christ focused and we have that joy and that faith in our heart, then we overcome it all. And we don't just only overcome it all, we overcome it all in His will, and we're exactly aligned with where we're supposed to be in life for Him, to represent and multiply Him. Thank you for your time. I love you guys. Please let me know if there's any more that you need from me. You guys stay blessed. Thanks.